Okay, let's just dive right in. Is the human translator totally obsolete? Now, that is a heck of a question, and it's right at the center of this really powerful essay we're going to break down today. We're going to get into this argument that AI isn't just another tool, but maybe the end of translation as we've known it.
So the essay by Dr. Sameh Abdigale, it doesn't really ease you in. Nope, it opens with this absolute bombshell of a line. We have been held hostage. The whole idea, right from the start, is that for literally thousands of years, human translators haven't been a bridge. They've actually been a wall.
I mean, that is a seriously bold claim, right? So, how in the world does the author back that up? Let's unpack the reasoning, piece by piece, and really try to get a handle on the thinking behind this pretty radical idea.
So the argument really kicks off with an accusation. The claim is that the entire field of translation is in what he calls a dangerous denial. He's saying the profession is basically sticking its head in the sand, just willfully ignoring the huge breakthroughs happening with AI. And, this isn't just some academic debate. He says there's a real human cost to this denial. The argument is that by romanticizing the job, we're essentially misleading young, aspiring translators, guiding them into a career that he's convinced is about to be completely upended by technology. And that leads right into his first major point of attack. He calls the human translator a bottleneck. And from there, he really sets out to tear down this romantic, almost heroic image that we have of translators throughout history. And here's the contrast he paints. It's pretty stark. On one side, you have that romantic view we all know, that translator as this skilled artisan, this cultural bridge. But on the other side is this much, much harsher reality. Translators who might be untrained, who get caught up in office politics, or in some cases are even branded as traitors.
And he's not just talking about today. He wants us to look back across the 3,000 years since writing was invented. His whole argument is that for all that time, this human bottleneck has just consistently failed to give us what we really want: true global communication.
To really hammer this point home, he gives some specific examples. He claims that because we've relied on this tiny pool of human translators, entire massive cultures like Japan, China, Brazil, they remain mostly locked away, just completely inaccessible to most of the world.
And his last shot at this is he questions if the old way is even sustainable. He basically asks, why would we keep relying on a profession that he describes as tiring and mentally depleting, especially when a much better tool is right here, right now? And that, of course, leads us straight to his solution: AI. Okay, so after laying out all the problems, the author makes a big pivot to the solution. And he doesn't frame AI as some kind of threat. Not at all. He sees it as this liberating force that can finally shatter all those human limitations he's been talking about.
So, what's AI's role in this new world he's imagining? Well, he calls it a formidable force for good. And the key thing to understand here is that for him, it's not about art or nuance. It's about pure, raw efficiency and speed, the power to process information on a scale that humans can never even dream of.
And he's not talking about some distant future either. He presents this as a fact, right now. He states it with total conviction. AI is here to stay, and fighting it is just pointless.
So you have to wonder, right? Where does this intense belief come from? Well, to really get it, we have to look past the tech and into the philosophy that's driving this whole essay. Because this is really about a whole worldview. Here it is. The author says it himself. I'm a transhumanist. And that's the key to his entire argument. It reframes everything. Suddenly, it's not an attack on a job. It's a deep-seated belief in using technology to get past our own biological limits and empower all of humanity.
And because he's coming from that transhumanist perspective, he insists he's doing this in good faith. He says the whole point isn't to put people down, but to push us all toward a future where knowledge is finally set free from that hostage situation he talked about right at the very beginning.
So after going through this whole argument, we're left with this huge, fundamental question about what's next. What this essay really does is it forces this big confrontation between tradition and technology, between the human artisan and the AI powerhouse.
Which brings us right here to the final lingering question. Is AI a threat that's going to wipe out a noble profession? Or is it the very key that will finally unlock thousands of cultures that, until now, we've never really been able to hear from? The author has definitely made his case, and now it's up to us to think about the answer.